I once wrote, we are nothing but sum of our habits, and I completely believe in this. For all the successes we cherish and failures we regret in our life are nothing but collection of all the habits we have inculcated over our lifetime. I'm sure, like me, you must have tried to nurture some good habits or get rid of some bad ones. And I'm sure you must have succeeded in few and failed in some. But do you remember that one habit you dearly want to get rid of? And what happens is you succeed, but at the same time it comes back to you, and it haunts you back because you're not able to completely get rid of. It keeps coming back, you lapse on it. When that happens, naturally what we do is we blame it to our willpower, we blame it to our determination, we blame it to many things like distraction in life, what's going on at that particular point in time in life. And we say that we do not have the drive to go and achieve it. While all of that may be true, there is a deeper reason behind why that happened, and that is very scientific in nature. What I want to do is, in the series of video, I want to share that experience with you, what I have personally gone through after reading a book called The Power of Habit about 8 years back. This book is written by Charles Duhigg, a very famous journalist who also wrote this book, and it was one of the New York Times bestseller. What I like about this book is not about advice or the usual business book that you read or successes that you read of what people have done, but what Charles has done is based upon, backed up by research that many scientists have done and backed up by many examples he has taken. He has divided the entire problem in simple steps. Once you understand that, you can change your life, and believe it, it is true, because 8 years back when I read this book, I was a mess. I never used to do exercise. I had a craving for cookies. I never used to look out for my calories. And I was not growing young, as you know, right? And my life was in a very different roller coaster. I read this book and my life changed, and changed for good. So what I want to do is create a series of video where I'll share my personal experience and also snippet from this book, which will help you, I'm presuming, to change your life like I did, again in a very scientific way, not based upon certain facts and figures. But before we begin that, let's try to get a story out to you and see that how it all comes together. This is about the toothpaste I'm sure you must have used in your life, or at least seen it, Pepsodent. Back in 1900s, when Pepsident was not even released, there were many toothpaste or tooth powder available in America. In fact, there are too many players. There were door-to-door salesmen taking different combination of tooth powder and toothpaste and trying to sell to America. Yet, America was not inclined towards using a toothpaste at that particular point in time. The situation was so bad that when the First World War was happening and America was drafting, Army was drafting for people, and then when they were doing a body checkup, the biggest problem they found in Americans, the young Americans, was their teeth. They have rotten teeth, and so much so that there was a point made at that particular point in time that if this pandemic is not stopped, if Americans do not take care of their teeth, it will be a big disaster for the new generation to come. But despite that, despite having many brands, no one used to use toothpaste or tooth powder. So what happened is, at that particular point in time, I'm sure you've heard about this gentleman named Claude C Hopkins. He is known as the pioneer of advertisement. Quaker Oats, Palmolive, so he made it household names. A good friend of him came to him and said, I have a brilliant idea on a toothpaste and I want you to do the ad for me. He was not convinced. Again, for the reasons I've told you, there are many players in the market. No one was doing any great. Americans were inclined not to use a toothpaste, and he didn't want to bother wasting his time on it because he was making plenty of money. His ads were all famous. He was a known entity at that particular point in time. Didn't want to waste his time in this. His friend was insistent, and he kept coming back to him, forcing him to do it. And after 6 months of time, he gave in, and he thought, might as well give it a chance. So like always, what he did was he wanted to study the product itself. So he took all of the dental book and tried reading them, trying to find that one thing that the audience will grasp to, and they will kind of follow the path of brushing their teeth. And the books were bland, as you can understand. There's scientific books, scientific journals about dental hygiene, dental procedures and things like that. So after months of reading, he found one very interesting fact, and it kind of caught his eye, which is when you eat something, a film is formed on the top of your teeth. It kind of a bingo moment or aha moment for him, and what he thought, maybe this could help me to make Pepsodent a greater brand in America. So what he did was he wrote 2 lines. At that time, as you can understand, print media was the way to go, hoardings and print media. TV was not even there. I'm talking about early 1900s. So what he did was he made 2 lines of ad. The first line said, whenever you eat something or whenever you have some free time, why don't you just rotate your tongue over your teeth? What do you feel? Do you feel a film? That's the first line. And the second line is said that now use Pepsodent to remove that film and get yourself an amazing experience. The beauty will come back to you. That's what his catching line was. Not exactly the same, but somewhere around those lines. And he made a lot of hoardings out of it and painted wherever he was putting the ad. I think the top 3 cities he took, I think Salt Lake was one, I think Arizona, Phoenix in Arizona was another one. So you pick a couple of cities and he put the hoardings out there. And they waited. First week, nothing happened. Second week, nothing happened. And third week, they have so much of demand they couldn't keep up. So much so that, they went public, and in 3 years, they went to China, they went to Germany, they went to other countries, they went to Spain. So much so that 30 years, Pepsodent became the #1 leader in the entire nation. So much so that when World War II was happening later on, tooth decay was never a problem anymore. And not only that, 68% Americans in the first 5 years of this launch kept Pepsodent in their bathroom. So what happened here? And if you basically see, a trigger happened, right? There's a cue he gave. Cue was, you need to rotate your tongue around your teeth. You feel a film, that is a cue. And then there's a routine. The routine was you're feeling the film, and then he said you brush and it goes away. Just to let you know, if you already don't know, the film actually goes away if you gargle with water. If you gargle nicely, the film goes away. Film will also go away if you eat something acidic. For example, you have eaten something and just eat an apple, it will go away. But he made it sound, you brush and Pepsodent is the only way it can go away. And American caught up to it. So there was a cue, there was a trigger, and then most importantly, there was a realization of reward. What is that is, you get beauty, you look fresh, you look beautiful. And I think that whole loop, what we call it as a habit loop, which I'll talk about later, is what exactly happened to Americans that time. There was a cue, which they took. There was a routine, which is brushing, and there was a reward. They feel nice, they feel fresh, they feel that they're more beautiful now. Before they brush, now they are more beautiful after brushing. That habit loop is what happens to all of us, and I'm going to talk about in the coming videos how it basically happens from a scientific way. But I'll leave you with that thought today, but let me tell you what all things you're going to learn. Broadly, we'll learn about 4 things. We'll learn about the habit loop, how it basically happens, and how the brain functions when the habit loop happens. The second thing we'll learn is that habit loop alone is not enough. There has to be a belief that has to come from you. And again, something to catch upon you for a longer period of time. There has to be craving, which is also equally important. We'll also learn about things like keystone habit, which is like one habit that can percolate many good habits within you. So you capture one and then other follows the routine accordingly. We'll also learn about how habits can be inculcated within you. I'll give you my personal example, and I'll also give examples from this book, Power of Habit, where you'll see that how an individual can change from what he or she was before and how he or she became later on. We'll also learn about how companies or organizations can change. We'll take examples of large enterprises who have completely pivoted from the way they were to something different just because of habits that has been inculcated within the organization. We'll also learn about societies, how societies change, And if the right behaviors, right habits are inculcated at a large scale, even society can change. All of that is going to come in a series of video. But for that, you need to stick along with me. I hope you learned something new. I hope you find it interesting. But believe it, one thing I'm going to tell you is that if you stick along and if you understand the scientific reason behind how habits are formed, I'm pretty sure that you can get rid of those bad habits that you always wanted to, or can capture the good ones that you so desire to have in your life. Until then, ciao, take care and be safe. Bye for now.